My name is Farida, 29 years old, and I am a filmmaker. I was born and raised in Verona, Italy. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life until I discovered filmmaking. Once I started making movies, I realized I couldn't stop and I wanted to make it my job. Unfortunately, it wasn't that easy. Filmmaking is a tough industry to start with, and the economic climate of the last few years just didn't help. Especially because in Italy, the dedicated funding to arts and culture witnessed a dramatic decrease as soon as the crisis hit. For this reason, I decided to pack my things and look for new opportunities in London, where I thought I could find an exciting artistic community, the necessary support to realize my projects and develop as a filmmaker. There I could meet many other Italian filmmakers and artists who moved to London for the same reasons. Of course, I knew it wouldn't be easy. Looking for a job and a place to stay, the need for money and everything else proved even more difficult than I could imagine. Especially the language. I realized how frustrating it is when you can't express yourself properly. You end up feeling lonely, even with a lot of people around you. Anyway, I'm lucky. Here in London I have friends who help me understand my situation because they went through the same problems. I wanted to make this documentary for all those people who decide to leave their life and place of comfort to realize their dreams. I want to tell the story of some people who struggled, who didn't give up, and eventually overcame their problems. I want to prove that if you don't give up, and if you stay focused on what you really want, you can make it happen.
My name is Stefano, I'm a bass player. I play with Savage Messiah, it's a London-based band.
My name is Alessia, and I make drawings in charcoal, and I make paintings that look like drawings.
Hi, my name is Marcella Crevellaro. My job in London is an art technician, but I like to consider myself more like an artist.
I'm coming from Brescia, from north of Italy. A small village actually, not really Brescia, from the countryside. But
I am from Rome, and my parents are from two small towns near Naples.
I'm from Italy, Verona, the city of Romeo and Juliet.
my town is really small, really quiet, like the typical like town where you know each other, everyone knows each other.
I left Italy in the 80s. I was about 12, and then I moved I moved around a lot, Among the places I lived in was like Israel, then France, then here, because my parents have a job where they travel around a lot.
So I left Italy for a love delusion and a work delusion as well. The love delusion was quite hard, and I didn't want to stay in London because the weather is quite hard. I want to go in a hot place. But I lost the airplane. I met the guy here and I start to learn a bit how to speak. So I thought, stay here for a bit, and now it's 5 years, I'm in London. But even my career is built up. So when you see you can start to touch your ambition, it's quite difficult to just leave it, to go another place and start again.
I wanted to be a musician, and I had this opportunity to join the band because they had like a record deal with a company. They had like a touring activity here, so I said, well, let's give it a try. And then, yeah, I moved to London. They called me and I went for an audition. They liked me, I liked them, so yeah, I moved. Music is music, I mean. As long as when you start jamming, maybe it's the first time when you start playing with other people, you have because everyone got a different style, so you have to see, to feel comfortable. But then when you start jamming, after a while you go just playing.
I consider myself an artist, full kind of artist, because I make a lot of things. My first passion is sculpture, and I follow painting because I studied painting for about 17 years of my life. And in London I started a hobby, tattoo maker, and I started singing when I was 6 years old. I wake up in the morning, if I feel now a sculptor, I make a sculpture. If I feel a singer, I sing. But probably the one is make me feel better is to be on stage and sing. The one is made me put outside my anger is sculpture.
I've been drawing industrial landscapes because I like to construct things and deconstruct them. So essentially they're about space and light. Yeah, the work is becoming less about the subject now, and more about the actual space in the picture. And now I'm putting people in, I'm putting animals in, because they're just coming into my life. Because I practice shamanism as well, so they're all things that are part of me that feed into the work. My subject matter is something I look at and I have a feeling for, and then maybe I go back to the place many times, photograph it. Sometimes I make a sketch of it, and sometimes I just go back and work from the photograph at the same time. But if I haven't been there, it's very difficult to make. I have a certain way of approaching a picture, which is I try and be as free as possible and put everything in it, and then I take it away. And recently, as I get a little bit older, I want to be a bit more free, so I'm a lot more liberal with colour as well. So if I want to put it in and then take it away, that's okay, but I'll put it in to begin with. Whilst before, when I was a lot more extreme and black and white as a person, my work was a lot more black and white. And now slowly there are shades of it coming into it.
5 years ago, when I came in London, I didn't speak at all English. English was quite big trouble for me, especially the first 2 years, and was difficult for me to find a job in art contest for this reason.
I didn't know anything, and I cried every single day for months. And then one day I started speaking a little bit, then I came here when I was 12 just to have a deep immersion of learning English, and then I went to Israel when my parents were working, and I continued to go to an English school, but I didn't really speak English properly until I was about 18. You know, it took a long time.
So when I came in London, the first 2 days I was sleeping in the street because I couldn't find an hostel, because I didn't even know how to say hostel. I was stuck in Victoria Station, raining, and just with a pillow. So that was, I think, the hardest day in my life. Was really embarrassing, the fact I couldn't speak with people. It was really strong, the sensation.
I have friends now, but not when I arrived. When I arrived, I didn't know anyone. I arrived by myself, and I did 2 years in a boarding school, because I had to finish my A-levels. And then from that, I moved to London, and I was 17 when I finished school. My parents moved here to work here. It was just coincidence, so obviously I lived with them. And then I started going to college, and it evolved in that way.
So I found a job straight away. Obviously not an arty job because my English was not good enough. I started in a restaurant and I built up slowly.
At the moment I'm working. I'm a street sweeper at the moment. It's fine because I'm working actually in the morning, so I got all the afternoon to practice, to do all the things that I need to do, and yeah, also it's good money, so for the moment it's alright.
My job in London is an art technician. So art technician is called the helper of the teacher, but depend which teacher you work with. And some teacher, they just let you do a basic job. Some other teacher, they let you support a lot the lesson. I'm quite lucky because I work with 3 teachers really good, and they let me do a lot of things in class. Every Wednesday and Thursday, I have a 1 hour and a half. It's an art after club where I'm teaching prop making. And so I like to consider me in between from an art teacher and an artist.
Some years I've had enough money to just live just off the painting, but not every year is the same. So basically from the very beginning, when I decided to go to art college, first of all I got a grant from the government, which was great, and then so that helped, to pay for the course. But I also had lots of part-time jobs on the side, because you don't know how much you're going to make or what you're going to sell. You know, so you can say, okay, maybe this year I'll be fine and I don't need to have a part-time job, but you don't know, and so you have one just in case.
So probably the big difference from Italy and London is the weather, and probably the fact is London is like a port, so you meet a lot of people in London, different from the teeny tiny town where I'm from. The people, they're always the same, and because you meet a lot culture and people, you change a bit yourself. It's make you stronger in a way, and it's make your mind change a lot. So even your art, I think.
Yes, I think London was the best place. London or New York, because there's lots of people. They're full of opportunities, and also here it's possible to be an artist and not have an income from a full-time job. You can get yourself like a part-time job, and then you can go and work in your studio. Maybe you get a part-time job, 4 days a week, and 2 days a week you work in your studio. But it's possible to do that. While somewhere like Italy or Spain, it would be very difficult to do that, without a lot of support or without sponsorship. So I think here, and certainly New York, having spent time there, you just feel that there's a buzz, there's an art buzz, there's possibilities, there's art fairs. You can make contacts. If you're really motivated, you can go and make contacts with everybody. And so it's, I think London is a great place for it, definitely.
This is my little town is like 7,000 people, and coming to London is like, I don't know how many millions of people. Then it's a city. It's not like a small town, so it's completely different.
I liked London because it's a very anonymous place, and I travelled around so much that I was anonymous like everybody else here.
Obviously, when you live somebody's comfortable and cozy, like your country, your family, your house, it's always a bit hard. Everybody, they change a country, they just expect to find a job, a house, and money like that. But I don't think it's gonna happen like that. Depend. If you have some contact, probably you're lucky than other. But if you know, you need to put up your leaves and start work and start from the bottom.
To succeed in the art world, I think it's really important also to work really hard and to learn to take rejection, because everyone's going to apply to hundreds of competitions and not get in. And sometimes it's just luck, sometimes it's because you're no good, sometimes it's because it just didn't happen that time. And it's really important to not lose heart and continue. That's why it's good to have something else on the side. So if that's all you do, it can just eat up your life sometimes and stop you being positive.
It's possible to make it. You have just to be patient, like try to get the best out of your opportunities. Always carry on, do what you're doing, write music, go out, meet people.
I think to realize your dream, the only way to do it is just do it constantly. Never stop, even if you have kids or go to another country or something happen really bad in your life, just carry on do it. Or if you leave it, obviously your dream is never going to happen.
People know deep in their hearts what they need to do. And so sometimes, if you're in a place where it's impossible for you for anything to happen, first you put a wish out there, I'd like this to happen. And you could be anywhere and something could happen. Somebody could see your work if you're living in a tiny town in the middle of nowhere, and then they could make you somebody. But once you put that wish out there, that doesn't happen, you have to try something else. So it's about really trial and error.